First of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's Nathan back with another video presentation. I hope you are all well. Happy Friday. Hope everyone had a great week. Hope everybody's staying safe. Happy December. We're almost close to the holidays. Hope everyone has something planned for the weekend. Does something nice for themselves. Before we get into the video, this is the intro bonus / introduction to the last episode for season 4 of the podcast. Season 4, as already for season 5, it'll end on Sunday, probably sometime around Tuesday. You will see a new intro, outro, everything for season 5. Before we get into it, again, thank you for the support that you've given me and this channel. I do really appreciate the support that you have been giving. It's much love. Episode 20, I think I have it like 2021. That will go up tomorrow evening, probably sometime around 6-ish. So be on the lookout for that. But I wanted to revisit a topic, and as you have seen the title, let me start off by saying this. This video is not a hate. This is not a this video is me giving my full commentary on this subject. I want to give a shout out to Sean Spencer, who actually we really had a really thoughtful discussion on this when I was on a couple weeks ago on his show, Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. Shout out to Nick Rosario, Delilah Crespo. Also to Sydney Swinton, David Wright were also on that show. Shout out to them. But there was a question in that episode where the question was, can Lamar Jackson win a championship? And I'm going to play that to where the question was started. Well, the question was, can Lamar lead a team to a championship? And for all intended purposes, again, this video is not intended to hate, criticize. It's just we can agree to disagree. I understand their stance on Lamar Jackson. I respect that. But I look at it from this approach. I do. When I look at an individual, I know when he or she is that type of ball player. When I have seen Lamar Jackson for now 4 years, I know what this man is capable of doing, and I'm watching the games. First and foremost, there's no such thing as a perfect quarterback. Okay? Every quarterback has his flaws. I have seen it with Michael Vick. I have seen it with Tom Brady, Drew Brees. I've seen it with every quarterback that I have grown up watching the game of football. Be 27 years this weekend in existence of watching football. I've seen all types of quarterbacks come in and out this league growing up watching the game. But the greatness there are some that people are missing when it comes to Lamar Jackson. And I feel like Lamar Jackson gets a bad rep because Lamar Jackson is the quarterback that most critics don't want in the NFL. They want a pocket passing quarterback. That's just my opinion. We could agree to disagree. I've felt like that the moment he came into the league. People said he should have been a running back or wide receiver. They've done it to Hines Ward. They've done it with Antoine Randall, Trevor Pryor, Cordell Stewart. People forget Cordell Stewart. They made him a slasher. 1 year he's starting, the next minute he's not. It just seems like we're so quick to go, well, see, this won't work unless you do this. And I'm watching the games. Now, again, I understand there are things that still needs improvement. He's only 24 years old. He's not even in his prime. And I understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is a results-oriented league. But the media, again, I'm going to be, as somebody here on YouTube has said, repetition is the mother of skill. The media controls and spins the narrative. They're going to tell you Lamar Jackson is not a good quarterback. Lamar Jackson can't do this. Lamar Jackson can't do that. If you trust your eyes, shout out to the regular Ravens fan, if you trust your eyes and watch the games and seeing what this kid can do on a given night, Lamar Jackson is box office. When we come to his defense, we're coming to his defense because of things that are being consistently said that no other quarterback in this league warrants. No other quarterback gets this kind of criticism. That is a fact. But I say all that to say this. My introduction is not bashing in no way the Let's Talk Football crew. I'm just playing the clip because I want you guys to hear how they feel. Okay? And then we're going to come back and I'm going to give my commentary. So, with that being said, shout out to Sean Spencer and the crew. Let's watch.
We are going to talk about.
Not getting on that.
Huh? Wait. Nick said, Ab said, you're still 0 forever against me, Nick.
Yeah, well, bring it on.
What up, guys?
Why? How much is Nick Foles getting for this year? That I was so wrong.
I have no idea. I didn't.
They gave him $10 million for the year. What is Nick?
I might be talking about fantasy.
Skip it a little bit.
Delilah's
It's gotta be like, come on.
Hey, Sid. Hey, Sarah.
For things. That's it. What you got, man?
Here's the thing.
All right, gentlemen, I want a clean fight. Keep it above the waist.
When was the last time? Everybody's been watching the NFL for a long time. When was the last time a running quarterback won the Super Bowl?
Running quarterback won the Super Bowl.
Think about it.
Won the Super Bowl.
One Super Bowl.
You'd have to say one. You'd have to say Steve Young if you say one. I mean, because you wouldn't say
Big Ben, Aaron Rodgers, Steve Young, Roger Staubach, Frank Tarkenton, John Elway. I'm missing some other quarterbacks. Did I say Steve Young? I'm missing some other quarterbacks in that category, but those are that come to my mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
you need somebody that's rushed. You're talking about running as much as
Running was the
Lamar.
main component
Oh,
of
I
the
thought-
Even
A lot of people
Okay.
can't stand Russell
Okay.
Wilson as a running quarterback.
Russell
I was
Wilson,
gonna say that too. I was gonna say, okay.
That's
It's
the
a
thing.
garbage question because the running
Yeah.
quarterback
Yeah.
is new. Yeah, we have
Michael
we have
Vick,
Mike Vick.
Randall
Yeah, Mike
Cunningham.
Russell Wilson, like we were saying, he won
Ab
the
said,
Super Bowl.
Ab said
I don't
Steve
consider
Young
him
in
a
Super Bowl
rushing quarterback.
29.
Steve Young. Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
still
it's
a good run. Yeah.
A runner.
We have
If we're gonna call that a running quarterback.
Yeah,
Here's the reason.
we have all these
here's-
hybrid quarterbacks now.
right.
Cam Newton, I did consider a rushing quarterback. He was better on his legs than he was with his arm.
Right,
Mike
for
Vick,
sure.
better with his legs than he was with his arm. But
Right.
that position is evolving, and we have
Right.
quarterbacks coming out now that can rush just as well as they can throw. Look
Right.
at Josh Allen. Look at Josh Allen. You're telling me Josh Allen? Now, Josh Allen has a cannon.
does.
He has a good arm, but it also took for them to bring in an elite wide receiver to help Josh Allen. So
That was just my starting statement. I would like to continue my argument now.
Recoup my time.
I'm reclaiming my time, sir.
So, Lamar is a great running quarterback. Yes. He is not a great passing quarterback. Anytime Lamar needs to make throws when he goes against a good defensive line that can contain him, he crumbles. Look at his stats against teams with a great rush. Lamar is amazing, and he makes a lot of people look dumb. So there's not a lot of teams that can do that. But the great teams that make runs have a great defensive line. Look at all of them. They all have great edge rushers and good D tackles. If you have that formula, you will beat Lamar every time because he cannot sit in the pocket and make passes. Russell Wilson can run, yes, but he can sit in the pocket and make the pass. Dak can run, but he can sit in the pocket and make the pass. Josh Allen can run, but he can sit in the pocket and make the pass. Lamar can't do that when he needs to. The pass opens up for Lamar because of the run, because they have to put a spy on him. They can't put anybody. That's one less guy they can take out of coverage. He can run around and give you that time that gets you the ball down the field. That's why Lamar will never win the Super Bowl, because he will never be able to beat a defense with a great defensive line. Go ahead, guys.
Okay.
Mic drop.
No, I have a question for you then, Mr. Sidney, right as you drop your pen, Sean. But you could probably make that argument for a lot of people that, yeah, nobody plays that great against a great defensive line. There's a lot of guys who are not effective. Look at what happened to Patrick Mahomes in last year's Super Bowl alone.
Oh,
Like, he was one of the greatest quarterbacks in the world, according to everyone, and look what Tampa did to him. So I understand your argument, but I also want to put a little hole in it, because I think we're missing maybe the point a little bit in this as well when asking this question. Because the question, of course, is yes. And the reason why the answer is yes is because the league, the way that it is now, is like David said, guys can, I get it. He's not the greatest thrower in the world, but he has proven in games that he can throw the ball. He can throw it up there. He can complete pass. He doesn't have everything around him that he needs to do that effectively. So I think his first instinct is to run. And again, I don't know if that's something you can coach out of him or whatever, or the scheme.
Hold on. I want to pause it right there. I understood what Nick was saying right there in terms of his first instinct is to run, but understand, and I'm going to hold on to it. But some of it does have to do with, if I'm a quarterback, okay, if I snap the ball and I drop back to pass and there's nobody open, why would I stand there in the pocket? If I'm a quarterback and I can run, let me make a play for my team. If Hollywood Brown can't get open, if Miles Boykin can't get open, if the defense, if if they've covered those wide receivers, Mark Andrews as well, downfield, what other option do I have? Throw the football away, take a sack?
Was set up that way or whatever. That's for John Harbaugh and his staff to figure out. But I just feel like Lamar does get dumped on a lot for not being a passing quarterback. But yet, what does the guy have to pass to? Hollywood Brown? I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's your number one receiver. And I just think, man, like, this guy's been in the playoffs just about every year he's been in the league. And what's been one of the missing components for this guy is people to pass to. This guy needs help. And that, I mean, again, you're right. It's going to be hard for Baltimore to get out of the AFC. I'm not going to deny that. I think it is going to be tough for them to be, to get to the Super Bowl. But with answering the question, can Lamar lead a team to a championship? I do believe that he has all the tools necessary to do that. But the situation has to be right as well. And for right now, he needs some help. That's all I got to say. And in the immortal words of Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
Delilah, go.
I mean,
Wait, but before you go, Delilah, I gotta add somebody that is an expert on this subject.
I was wondering Yeah, go Nate.
Look, and he already took his glasses off, so he's serious.
Be ready.
Oh no, he put them back on. Hold on.
All right, come on, Nate.
There we go.
He can.
I'm not going to play my response because I want you guys to hear me once I'm done playing when I'm finished with this clip. But I'm gonna play it with Delilah. Shout out to Delilah Crespo.
I'll defer. I'll say my. No,
Hey, what do you think, man?
Okay. I'm going to jump in very, very quick, and then I'm going to let Nate talk because this is his guy, and he's going to have the floor. I was waiting for my turn to respond to Sid the same way Nick did. Every single quarterback in this league struggles with a good pass rush. All of
Tom
them.
Brady.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
For me, what makes a championship quarterback? Two things. One, can you take over a game? We have seen Lamar do it countless times throughout his career so far, whether it be on the ground or in the air. He is capable of taking over a game. He is an absolutely dynamic player. And number two, can you play from behind? Yes, Lamar can play from behind. He struggled a little earlier in his career because when the Ravens were a rushing team with a solid defense, rushing teams with solid defense struggle when they get behind. However, we have seen Lamar week 3?
Yep.
And what we thought was the marquee matchup of the year, and he came from behind and willed his team in the fourth quarter. Those two things are what make a championship quarterback to me. And he checks both boxes. The man is absolutely dynamic. Nate, the floor is yours, my friend.
Let me skip because I want to make this vehemently clear. Now, some people, so I brought the examples of Ravens, not signing Kenny Galladay or T.Y. Hilton or what was the other guy? Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay, those were according. They weren't good examples in their opinion. That's fine, but here's what bothers me. Only from the standpoint of here's the thing. I want to play this clip really quick.
Look, when it comes to Lamar, you know what you're getting in Lamar. You know what I mean? If I'm a receiver and I'm like, yo, I can go to Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, yes, that offense is throwing 50 times a game. And they don't have to all the time, but they will because it succeeds. Lamar is going to run the ball. Because this is the thing, Nate. If you had a Lamar, why would you sit there and keep him in the pocket? It's not smart to do that. If Lamar has this ability to do this, then you lean towards what works. If what works is him running, then who cares? Who cares what anybody says that, oh, he's a running quarterback. Oh, did you tackle him? Did he run for 150 yards and 200 passing yards against you? what are we really talking about? Like, are we saying, oh, we need to get this man some big name receivers? No, because
I
all
don't think
that's
he needs a
doing,
big name receiver. I think he needs a consistent receiver.
I just
be
need
honest.
he
Yeah.
needs his guys to
Step up.
buy in and stay healthy, and they need to be the fun.
That's a question
That
for
would
Eric
help.
DaCosta. We have been
Shut Lamar Jackson down.
If you were throwing to guys who constantly drop the ball, you got it. So
Hey,
to
remember
me,
when they
man,
had
I mean,
the-
we can argue this all day and night about arm strength and getting new receivers and all this
No,
other
for
stuff.
sure. No,
But
for
at
sure.
the end of the day, what's it all about? W's, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm
remember when they had
telling
to kick a game-winning field goal to beat the 0-8 Lions?
first and
Yeah,
foremost.
right.
See it right there. And I'm going to address that.
Breaking field goal.
Again, you get the Lions this week. When they beat them, I want you to come back and say that you got beat by the Lions. So I wouldn't talk just yet, my friend, because those 0-8 Lions can catch you in a trap game, and they'll be 1-8 Lions, and you'll be worried about losing the Lions. So it's just relax. The kid playing college. Yeah, he was a runner, but he could throw the ball too. And I know college is different. Okay, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is the kid does have an arm. He can throw the ball. But if you were a quarterback and you were an offense, and again, if you were throwing to guys who constantly drop the ball or their routes weren't exactly crisp and clean and you're getting, what do you want me to do? My first inclination is going to be to take off and run the damn ball.
Right.
Because throwing it to you has gotten me nowhere.
Which is kind of what Sean was saying, right? If running is what he's like good at, then kind of build around that. Isn't that Sean's whole argument?
If Lamar gets bailed out for all the drops his receiver has, why was Ben so hated last year for all the drops his receiver has? I thought Ben was done because of all the drops his receiver, but Lamar is praised
I'll address
for all
that
the
too.
drops.
No,
Make it make
but
sense.
you know what happened
This
there?
is turning into an AFC North thing.
Right, but see what happened there, Cindy, is that you guys were
Us NFL like
you started 11-0 and then the tailspin. Regardless of the reason I'm telling you, you know how that looks. You guys started 11-0 and it was like, oh, the Steelers are back. This is phenomenal. Regardless, but so was Ben.
Quarterbacks that have 3 Pro Bowl receivers and a Pro Bowl tight end,
Well, you
and
don't
then
need all that,
let's
but
see
I'm
if he
just
can win.
saying, I would right now. Don't say that. You're
Okay,
better
you guys
than that after 3 weeks of having good games in the league. Come on, bro. Don't say that. You're
Okay,
better
you
than
guys are
that.
saying Ben's
Don't say
receivers.
that.
Chase Claypool was a pick last year.
I know.
Deontay Johnson
but
was
the
a
kid
third
has played
round
more
pick the year
games than
before.
Rashad Bateman has.
Ben
hasn't he?
makes the receivers look good. Lamar doesn't. Give credit to where it's due.
I think the top over here is not too big fans of Ben. So on little plays like last night, there was a third and fifth. The question that
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there. So because a couple things right there. So what's going on, Michelle? Good evening. Good to see you. A couple things that right in that video that I felt I wanted to touch on. David Wright, shout out to David, hit a couple things on the nail on the head. I have seen Lamar Jackson come back down a significant lead. People can now again, everyone has their opinions, they're entitled to it. You can sit there and say, Ravens have gotten lucky this year. You didn't really. There's no true game where you've really shown that you can be this or you can be that. Give credit where credit is due. We were down 35-21 against the Chiefs, and I saw a team that looked like they were getting ready to quit at home, come back and win 38-35. I saw the same team, not 3-4 weeks later, Monday Night Football, down 23-3. Come back and not only win, but win in overtime where the Colts didn't even get the ball. We can agree to disagree. I know what Lamar Jackson is capable of doing. I know I trust my eyes and what I see. We could talk about all this talent, teams, guys that coming here, guys not going here. But here's the biggest question that I want to ask. So if wide receivers, right, don't want to come to Baltimore, because again, perception creates reality. But let's just keep it real. There are some guys in the NFL that don't want to sacrifice for the greater good of the team. They care about their personal stats. Juju Smith-Schuster, personally, I was kind of like, nah, he wouldn't fit because he kind of has like a diva-ish personality. But he was behind Antonio Brown for a couple of years. The Kansas City Chiefs offered him some money. Why didn't he take that deal? Kenny Galladay would, by all means, can be considered a number 2-ish, number 1-ish wide receiver, and he's on a team where everybody is trashing the quarterback, and AKA Daniel Jones saying he's got to go. When in reality, I'm looking at the offensive line. You got a running back that can't stay healthy. You got a tight end that has butterfingers, injuries along with the wide receivers, and a defense that's still growing. But that's neither here nor there. T.Y. Hilton, just older. Okay? Juju Smith-Schuster decided to stay in Pittsburgh, took less money, and now he's on a team, even though he's out for the season. I wish him well. Hope he's doing well with his recovery. Is on a team by standards is hanging in there, but they're not the same team last year. Last year, everybody was like, oh, the Steelers are back. They're back. Then when it comes against Cleveland, the excuses come out, well, they had no running game. They have no offensive line. Those things never got addressed. Najee Harris, great. I mean, it got addressed in the draft. They got Najee Harris, who's a great running back, but they still didn't address the offensive line. They signed a couple pieces, which is great. The defense, still respectable in some ways. But, you know, and I have said this with basketball. I have said this. Baseball is tricky. It's tricky. But if, for example, if I'm a free agent and the Baltimore Ravens are interested in me, and I'm a wide receiver or a tight end, I know for the fact that, hey, we're interested in signing you. My common goal and Lamar our common goal is to win games, to win championships. The goal isn't let me sign a mega $1 million deal and I need to get 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. Sometimes it ain't all about the stats. I've seen guys who are great wide receivers get mega deal contracts, not the same player, on good teams with a pocket passing quarterback. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be real, okay? Like, I have seen Lamar Jackson do more with less. No other quarterback in this league currently warrants this kind of criticism. Now, I'm not saying in this video that I played, they're not criticizing. They're just, it's difference of opinions. I have been on the record when I say Lamar Jackson needs help. Like Delilah said, consistency, guys knowing their role and stepping up because the others matter, just like the others with basketball and baseball. For example, Kobe and Shaq wouldn't have 3 championships without Brian Shaw, Rick Fox, Devin George, Derek Fisher, Mark Madsen, some other guys I can't think off my top of my head. The others around key stars matter. Josh Allen, I remember the first couple years when he was in the league, everybody was like, I don't know about this guy. And then when he gets Stephon Diggs, he's the best thing since sliced bread. Now, I'm not saying that the Eric DaCosta has to go out there and go get Devontae Adams or go out there and get a Michael Thomas. Personally, Hollywood Brown is having probably one of the best seasons I've seen him here as a Raven. I don't think he's a number one wide receiver. I think he's a slot wide receiver. I really think, honestly and truthfully, Rashard Bateman can be a number one wide receiver. Tom Brady, Tom Brady, great quarterback, but he had Troy Brown. I think he had Bert Emanuel. I think he even had Jermaine Wiggins a couple years. David Pattern, Wes Welker, Edelman, Randy Moss. I think Deion Branch, Ron Gronkowski. He had weapons, etc. Patrick Mahomes. And we can all have difference of opinions, but this is my biggest question. Is Patrick Mahomes, and this is not a slight on Patrick, is Patrick Mahomes a great player because of the system or are the players around him? Because I saw the same system with a different quarterback, and his name was Alex Smith. I guarantee you, if you take Lamar Jackson, you put him on that team, you get the same results like with the Chiefs now. See, it's different if Lamar Jackson had consistent weapons around him, guys that knew their role. It's different. I can see if he was in his seventh year and he has talent. He has like a Tyreek or a Travis Kelce. I think Mark Andrews is the fourth best tight end in the league, in my opinion. Really, he's kind of now moving up like third, second-ish. But if he had guys that were consistent and he wasn't playing to what he was at Louisville, then you got a point. But it's not easy to criticize. It's not easy to sit there and criticize a guy when you're looking at the talent around him and you question, well, why is it if you're playing with a guy like Lamar, why can't you not show the same consistency? I'm looking at this year, the offensive line looks putrid. He's been sacked now, I believe, 30 times. So what is Lamar Jackson supposed to do? He's just going to stand there and just take sacks? You got to make plays for your team. Not directing that at the video that we played. I'm just saying. Like, Lamar Jackson, since he's been in the league, let me give you his wide receivers. Seth Roberts, Chris Moore, DeAnthony Thomas. He had Michael Crabtree and John Brown for a few years. Willie Snead. Great, good players, but they're not guys you could go and say, that's the number one wide receiver. Even had Des Bryant. Des Bryant wasn't the same wide receiver he was in Dallas. Like, he's doing more with less, and we're missing the greatness. No other quarterback, we never say, can Josh Allen win a championship? Can Baker Mayfield win a championship? Can Cam Newton win a championship? Cam Newton was in the Super Bowl, and by all means, no disrespect to Cam, but he laid an egg. No one has said that. Said, can Deshaun Watson win a championship? Look at last year. They brought up Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, right? Nobody said, everybody, well, now everyone has said the blueprint was figured out. You take the big plays away from Mahomes, make him read defenses, and so far, I mean, he's been playing better. But the first few weeks, he looked real basic. Like, sometimes you have to look at what's around a player. Like, I'll give you another example. Let's go with baseball, okay? Because I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. It's about the others. Ken Griffey Jr., as great as a baseball player he is, he's one of my favorite baseball players of all time. I think arguably he's the best baseball player of all time, of my generation. He played, I think he was the most clean, other than Mike Piazza, offensively wise. When he got to Cincinnati, 2000, the media had written him off. He wasn't a star because he went to a small market team, and he was 30, so he was older. His first year, right? Let me give you some of the guys that he was around. You had Aaron Boone. You had an older Barry Larkin. Jimmy Anderson, I think, was on that team. Scott Williamson. You had guys, role players, but there wasn't Adam Dunn was not there yet. But they weren't a team to compete for a World Series championship. What am I saying? I'm saying if I just got a guy, arguably one of the most feared hitters in the game at the time, if I got this guy, I'm going to try to get another free agent that can take, along with Ken Griffey, maybe another one or two free agents that could take the Reds from here to here. Never happened in his 8 years there with the Cincinnati Reds. Now, granted, I understand from 01 to 04, he had season-ending injuries. They never put a complete team around Ken Griffey Jr. in Cincinnati. Now, I think his best chance to win his World Series was in Seattle, in my personal opinion. Look at, again, another example. I want you to understand where I'm going with this. Look at Mike Trout. By all means, the Anaheim Angels, since Mike Trout's been with them, has made the playoffs one time. Mike Trout, by all means, I would think he's 30. Some would say he needs help. But if I look at the team now, they're not compete to win a championship. I apologize for the noise in the background. But that, again, what's around the player, that matters. I'm not going to ignore what I see. I know what my eyes see. I know what they're capable of doing. But check this out, right? When the media comes back and looks at Lamar Jackson, they'll never say the team, because last time I checked, it's a team game. Lamar Jackson has to do this. Lamar Jackson has to do that. Well, what about the others? Now, I think the Ravens wide receivers, I think up until a few weeks ago, they led the league in drop passes as receivers. Like, it matters because, like, when you start to see the talent, like, look at Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Great example. Like, when they play bad, there's excuses made for them. When Lamar plays bad, all hell breaks loose. Like, by all means, like, Kyler Murray Can Kyler Murray win a championship? The Cardinals are the best team in the NFL. Now, granted, with his injuries. Now, granted, I said when Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen got drafted, they were the best two quarterbacks in that class. I stand by that. But here's my thing, right? The reason why I brought up those examples is I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, when you're winning, the question should be, it's not can Lamar win a championship. Lamar can win a championship, but it's the others that have to deliver. See, that's the answer to the question. It's the others around Lamar that have to deliver as well. Like when we start, like I don't know why we have to hold it. We have to start holding guys to the Tom Brady standard. Like last year, Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers should have won the Super Bowl. He had Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, and I think the Packers were like the top 10 defense. So if Lamar Jackson goes out there and he has a bag, if he has a decent game, let's say, I'll give you a great example, right? The year we went 14-2. Everybody glossed over the fact that, yeah, he threw for over 500 yards, but everybody wasn't paying attention to the fact that brothers were dropping passes. But also people forgot to ignore that Derrick Henry ran all over us for like well over 200 yards. So here's the question: did Derrick Henry win that game, or did Baltimore was not prepared? The Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, they were just in the AFC Championship last year. Excuse me, I apologize. By all accounts, I hold every quarterback to the same standard. Consistency. If we hold Lamar Jackson to the standard of he's got to produce now, Josh Allen has to do the same thing. Baker Mayfield, everyone's now starting to see it. I saw it the first couple years in Cleveland, but it's really more about the Cleveland Browns than Baker Mayfield. All I'm saying is that I believe the man will win a championship. I have seen what he can do. I am appreciating the greatness. But here's my question. Replace any quarterback, whether it's AFC, NFC, don't matter, with a Tom Brady. Will that team make it to the playoffs? So if Tom Brady was on the Baltimore Ravens today with the weapons that Lamar Jackson has, will they get to the Super Bowl? Take Tom Brady on a team that the Los Angeles Rams, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Higbee, well, Henderson Jr., Woods before he got hurt. The Buffalo Bills too. I guarantee you those teams that have weapons, I mean weapons, consistency, consistent receivers, they would have the same record with the quarterbacks that they have currently. But again, we got to start appreciating the greatness of this kid. Plain and simple. When I look at his stats, my eyes don't lie. His career percentage is 64%. And you're saying he can't throw the ball. But Patrick Mahomes 65. So what this essentially is that this is a type of quarterback they don't want in the NFL. Mobile quarterback, even though it has been in existence in the NFL. But let me just say it like this. I'm going to close it off by saying this because I've talked now for 45 minutes. Let's just say hypothetically, if Lamar Jackson does not win a championship, which I don't think will happen, I believe he will. As a Raven fan, I believe Lamar Jackson will win a Super Bowl. If he doesn't, Lamar Jackson will be the poster child for guys like Stephen A. and other people who don't trust their eyes and don't appreciate the greatness of quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. He'll be the poster child for, you see why we shouldn't draft quarterbacks like that? You need to get guys like Josh Allen, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, there'll be excuses for him. If Lamar Jackson was on a team like Jacksonville, the excuse is he has no help. He has to get out of Jacksonville. Because Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback, but the team he's on is crappy. But what happens when you're such a great player, you go to a bad team. I know what this guy is capable of doing. I have seen it for 4 years, and I trust my eyes. I know what Lamar Jackson is capable of doing, but it's the others that have to deliver. The others matter, and consistency matters too. This team right now is 8-3 because of the will and what I have seen what guys are doing. They're stepping up when it's needed to. And that's what guys have to do around Lamar. We're all going to have bad games. We have to not take what people say. You have to take it with a grain of salt. If people saying you can't throw, you need to be a wide receiver, prove them wrong. And that's what he's doing. When are we going to give this man his flowers and his respect? When he wins a championship? No. Give it to him now. I've seen Patrick Mahomes in college. He was all over the field and consistently. I'm not hating on Patrick Mahomes because I think he's a great player. But go back to my question. Is he a good player because of the system or what's around him? It's easy for guys if he had stuff around him. Lamar Jackson has not had the pleasure of having that. He's had to work with less, and that's a fact. And with that closing, I believe the man will win a championship. With that being said, you will see the next episode tomorrow. This concludes the introduction/bonus episode. Have a good night. Stay up.
First of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.